This is the Unsafe series for Tani Otoshi. Everyone knows Tani, well, let's not say everyone, but most experienced or intermediate people know Tani Otoshi is a very dangerous throw. Famously, John Danaher bans it from his club. A lot of other judo dojos I know bans it, but what upsets me is that they ban it, but they don't tell you. Tani Otoshi is probably the most dangerous move, not because it's more dangerous than Kani Basami, but because it's so easy to do, and it's something that people do without ever being taught. Mm-hmm. So they'll just do it by instinct because it's so intuitive.
It's a natural throw just for you to go for
a counter. Yeah. And also it's very easy for beginners to rely on because people come in for a bad turn throw and then they just learned how easy it is to counter another beginner, so they start relying on it and spamming it. With that said, a lot of people made videos out there about Tani Otoshi as dangerous. Personally, I think I can do a better job, sorry. But problem with most Tani Otoshi videos out there is that they demonstrate it in a safe, non-resisting environment. And they don't look at how the injuries actually happen. I haven't been training judo that long, but like 90% of the injuries I've seen are from Tani Otoshi.
A lot are.
A lot of it are. Let's go over how people typically do Tani Otoshi first, all right?
Most people are just gonna drop down their weight onto the person and just try to throw backwards, or you're actually gonna throw like kind of 45-ish that way. And so right here, I'm gonna put all my weight onto him, put my leg back, because that's what I think is gonna happen, because that's what I see in videos. I'm gonna do like this and take him to the ground. Here.
So that's how people typically do it, like beginners, right? So it's mostly because I don't have enough kuzushi. I come in because I'm a beginner, and then he just thinks about blocking my legs. Blocking my legs and using his body weight to drag me down, basically. That's how most people do it. I'm not gonna go over in detail why it's dangerous, because other YouTubers have done that, but the gist of it is, if my hips are going in like this, especially if I'm blocking the high part of the knee, then the weight's just gonna go straight into his knee. Now, I'll demonstrate how most people demonstrate it safely. They'll tell you to just keep away from the knees and go backwards. So here, backwards. Many people demonstrate some sort of variation of that. The problem with that is they don't demonstrate what actually happens when there's resistance. So I'm gonna do the same thing, but what happens if he doesn't want to go back? Because usually when people go back, they step back, right? So this is safe when I do it like this, demonstrating. But if I do the same thing and he steps back, look at where his knee is now. And if I continue to go down the same exact path I was going down, I risk going into his knee. What I'm proposing is there's two separate versions. There's like the competitive version, because you have to block the leg because it's really effective. Mm-hmm. So in competition, people are gonna do it, and you just gotta learn it. So how do I mitigate the risk of doing the competitive version? And then there's like the 100, I wouldn't say 100, but 99% safe, correct version of doing Tani Otoshi. When I enter, I need to go behind him, all right? I don't want to be in front of him, because now I have to get past his knee and his hips to get behind him. So I need to move behind him, and then I just don't block his leg at all. The point of this leg is to just sit down like a baseball slide like that and drive his weight backwards. So if I don't block his leg at all, then it's really safe, because there's no chance of me sitting into you or anything. That's basically it. I'm gonna include some examples. I think Tokyo Hirano did a version like this. And the official Kodokan channel versions like this. And to be honest, Tani Otoshi, you need the kuzushi to do it. So they should be like reacting backwards, but most people don't do that. They just like forcefully drag the body weight down. I'm going to include examples of people getting hurt, and you're going to see very commonly people either step back or they turn their bodies to shift angles, so the trajectory of the hips change and they end up sitting in the ankle.
was that? Don't really wrestle. Oh, hurt his knee.
The competitive version, all right? So how do we make it safer? First thing is when we enter, don't stay up high, get lower, right? When we get lower, number one, our center of gravity is lower. Number two, my hips are gonna get lower than their knees. So no longer go right into the knee. If I go like this, then if I sit, I'm mostly going into his leg or his ankle. So all that does is it moves the risk from your knee to your leg or ankle. So this is probably stronger than your knee, but there's a chance I'm gonna break it. But if I break it, but it'll heal better than ligaments, right? And then the ankle, right? You can't really avoid that. That's number one. Number two, we still want to get behind him. And then now we block the far leg. But you see how low I'm getting as I'm blocking the far leg? I'm not staying up here and blocking the far leg and then sitting into his knee. And I am definitely not high up here and blocking the leg. I'm gonna show you a screenshot I found on Instagram, someone posting this. That's how I propose doing the competition version and mitigating the risks. So there's two versions. I personally got my knee messed up like that. It's never the same after surgery. So I always do the 100% safe version in training because I don't want to be the one hurting my partner. The competition version I think is important to know. Another thing is, like as someone who's training, if someone does this to you, you know someone's going to do this to you, you probably don't want to step back. If you messed up your turn throw and you feel someone dragging down, you probably don't want to step back. You probably don't want to change angles. You just want to tuck your chin and
Go backwards.
Go backwards.
Yeah.
Keep your legs together and go backwards. Unless they really messed up, like your legs are together and I really go like that, I think your legs are pretty safe there.
The problem is that when people first learn this or first see it, they think that it's like I jump into the person sideways. You're gonna mess up someone's knee that way.
Yeah.
Anthony showed two great ways of doing it. The one way that I do it is that I kind of, you really have to step back, but I use my head as well. I use my entire body to take people down. And you can use a back grip for this. You can use a horse collar grip on the top. There's a lot of things you do to pull them back and make it much more safer on the person.
Yeah, there's many different ways of doing it. I'm just showing the mechanics of how it's done safely. So I'll show it once how I do it. Grab the collar, and then I sit down and go like that. So I just went backwards. My knee, my hips, my groin basically went straight down like this and back that way. At no point did it go driving in towards his center of gravity.
So here I want to demonstrate if someone sits in a Tani Otoshi instead of going backwards with it. So I'm going to go 1, 2 into the person, and instead of going backwards, I just lean right into it and just going to break their knee just like that. So before I sat into Tani Otoshi, now this is if I don't pull them fully backwards, their legs are planted. So if someone's backwards, they're leaning forward, I'm gonna come behind them. I don't go behind their knee, their leg behind me, and I try to throw them backwards. That's what happens to the knee when it's done improperly.